Ram Ram. Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki. Shrinvatam Sakatha Kṛṣṇa Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastu Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. Satam Prasange Mama Virya Samvido Grinanti Hritkarna Rasayana Katha. Tajoshana-dapavargavartamani Shraddharatir bhaktir-anukrameshyati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 25, entitled Lord Krishna Lifts Govardhan Hill. So this is a very beautiful chapter, and we have covered till text number 20 in the last discussion. So we're going to read here from the next verse, which is text 21. Thank you, Baldev Prabhu, Ruby Mataji, Vanna Mataji for joining. And Subal Gopal Prabhu, thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna.
Let's Hare Krishna. Natras iha karyo madhastadri nipatanat vatavarsha bhaye nalam tatranam vihitam hivaha. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Abhicharanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand. And don't be afraid of the wind and rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged. Hare Krishna. So, if you go back a little bit, Krishna has already lifted the Govardhan hill in text number, I think, 19. So he lifted it very easily, and we discussed that like a child lifts the mushroom. And then in the 20th verse, he said, "Oh, dear father, mother, everyone, please come." Now looks like they are saying, "Oh, you are a little boy, and this Govardhan is so big, 7 kosa, right? It's so huge, 21 kilometer circumference. What if it falls?" What if there's a wind, vata varsha, right? Vata is a wind, right? Varsha. So Krishna is assuring, don't be afraid of all these so-called disturbances, the rains, the winds, right? The deliverance from that has already been arranged. So basically, Krishna is inviting all of us to take his shelter. And often we may have some sort of fear Is it not? What if I take shelter of Kṛṣṇa? What will happen to my job? What will happen to my family? How will I fit in the society, right? Is it not? A lot of people have, oh, when I go to office, how will I adjust with the office people, right? Often, how will my kids adjust with the rest of the society and stuff like that? So we have a lot of apprehensions, we have a lot of fears. Our fear could not be wind or rain, as Kṛṣṇa is calling. Kṛṣṇa is calling all of us, right? Kṛṣṇa is calling of all of us every day. How? Through the words of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja manmana bhav madbhav, to become my devotee, take my shelter. Through the words of the Guru, Srila Prabhupada, always reminding us, chant Hare Krishna, take the life seriously. Life is short. Serve Vaishnavas, Namaruchi, Vaishnav Seva, Jivadaya, take Krishna Prasad, etc. Through scriptures, through holy dhams, through his Lilas, through his festivals, through books, through Vaishnavas, all through special tithis like Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, Govardhan, Gopashtami, so many pastimes, so many Lilas. Why he does? To remind us to take shelter of him and calling us again and again. And like the Brajavasis, we may also have some fear of winds, of rains, or whatnot, of the mountain itself, right? What will if it falls? So Kṛṣṇa is assuring that deliverance is certainly arranged. Nayami param gatim. Even if my devotee leaves me, I will not leave my devotee. Prabhupada says that I will drag, Prabhupada is quoting, I forgot the place, I think in Kṛṣṇa book, I will drag my devotee back home, back to Godhead. This is a wonderful picture also. Even if my devotee leaves me, having taken once to the path of bhakti, I will drag him back home, back to Godhead. Kṛṣṇa says that. This is how much Kṛṣṇa loves us. This is how much Kṛṣṇa cares for us. This is how much Kṛṣṇa is assuring us. Don't worry, the deliverance from all these afflictions, right? We also have afflictions. We also have stresses, problems, anxieties, adi bhautik, adi atmik, adi daivik, so much birth, old age, disease. All this is certainly arranged. If one has taken, because in this path there is no back gear. Having attained Neha vikramanashaste pratyevayu na vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even little progress can save one from the greatest dangers. So there is no back gear in this path. There's only forward gear. Sometimes the journey could pause, but there's no back gear. And again, resume after 20 lifetimes or 50 lifetimes. But there's no back gear for sure. So please come. Have no fear. Ma shuchaha. Do not fear. Kṛṣṇa is the source of everything, the most powerful, the most wonderful, the most magnanimous, the most bhakta-vatsala. Have no fear when we take Kṛṣṇa's shelter. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was once asked, all these devotees are asked this question in different way. Like Prabhupada was asked, hey, you guys are someone, like a very agnostic person asked this, you guys are whole day chanting and like reading books and what if, doing all this, and what if you realize at the end there is no God, no Kṛṣṇa? Prabhupada replied, well, our life is very wonderful. We begin with dancing. We discuss so much spiritual knowledge to nourish our intelligence. We spread love and happiness. We are happy and joyful, content. We have overcome the lower modes, anger, passion, ignorance, lust, greed. And we are very happy, and we have wonderful samosas, gulab jamuns, pizzas, pastas, Krishna Prasad. and everyone is chanting, dancing joyfully. But you tell me, what if at the end of the life you realize, oh, there is God and the Krishna is God? What will happen to you? Because whole life you didn't do anything to please him. At the time Bhakti Siru Maharaj was asked this, or he shared in one of the interviews or some conversation. Someone asked him, hey, you're so young, so intelligent, so intellectual, and you've given up your everything for Krishna. What if, what if, like, fear of future, right? We all have that. What if this happened? What if that happens? Fear of future is also a big like anxiety which may bother many. Maharaj beautifully replied, I have given countless lifetimes to Maya and got nothing back. One lifetime I want to give fully to Krishna. And I know that I'll get unlimited returns. I mean, because Krishna is assuring, and Krishna doesn't lie. The outside false promises of the world will lie, right? Do this, you'll get this. Oh, very big discount, or this, all that, even if it is, let's say, even if one gets, like a lot of money, right? Discount means money. One gets more money, more this, more that. What at the end? At the end, it's all zero. That's a big lie, which the material world tells us all the time, right? But Krishna consciousness is real substance, and Krishna does not lie. And Krishna is calling us, please come, take my shelter. Do not fear. Your deliverance is assured. You'll be delivered from all these things. These apparent difficulties, these rains, these winds and whatnot, they'll go away. If you take my shelter, mat chitta sarva durgani, mat prasadat tarishyasi, atha chetvam ahankara nashoshasi vinanshasi. Just by chanting the holy name, all the difficulties will go away. Difficult things becomes very easy, and easy things when we remember Krishna, and easy things become difficult when we forget Krishna. So in this beautiful verse, Krishna is again and again reminding us, come, do not fear, don't be afraid. Any thoughts, comments before we go to the next one? Anyone has? Okay, text 22. Anyone wants to read this one?
I can read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dhanam Pranam, all way to Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 22. Tatha nirvivishu gartam Krishna vasita manusha jatha vakasam sha dhanha shabrajo shapa jivanaha. Translation and purport by the devotees of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Translation. Their minds thus by Lord Krishna, they all entered beneath the hill, where they found ample room for themselves and all the cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and for all other members of the community as well. Purport: all the domestic animals of Vrindavan were brought beneath Govardhan Hill for shelter. I think in last verse, in few verses, we read that how come so many, actually in all the Brajavas must have many more one Govardhan Hill, because we read Prabhuji, right? It is expanded to give shelter to all the Brajavasis by the Lord's will. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, Srila Prabhupada's, it's mentioned that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentioned that since Govardhan was in contact with Kṛṣṇa, so ecstatic current was flowing through. So in ecstasy, Govardhan was able to accommodate thousands and millions of members and their communities, their animals, and all the Vraj Vasis, cows, carts, etc. Kṛṣṇa is inconceivable. Anyam Mahato Mahyam. He can become smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. And we've seen that in so many pastimes, like Trinavrata, right? He became light, so he could depict by Trinavrata, then he became heavy, then he became light. You know, he is very naughty. So he can do whatever he wants. So he can expand one flower, right? Ultimately, where is the world coming from? A flower, right? Such a big flower it is. And the Brahmaji comes and others come, right? So from his flower, all the creation is coming. That's coming from his navel. So how can we understand a flower coming from navel? We can't even conceive of that idea from our head, right? Has anyone seen any? I mean, of course, we've seen through the eyes of scriptures, but anyone seen like a flower coming through the navel, right? If we tell some like person who's not interested in all this, they'll say, what are these guys talking about? Flower coming from navel. It's like even the novels may not have all these kind of like ideas. So in short, Kṛṣṇa is very, very, very inconceivable. So yes, their minds were pacified by Lord Kṛṣṇa. That's a beautiful way. Kṛṣṇa pacifies the minds through his words, through his scriptures. Ashvasita, ashvasan. Ashvasan means he's giving a promise. Don't worry, I'm there for you. I'm your friend. Ami bina bandhu aar ke ache tomar. Who could be a better well-wisher than me? I have descended for you. Tomara loy no havatara. I've come to protect you. I've come. Bhagavatam has come to deliver us. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all these holy places, Krishna's expansion, the dham, the books, the prasadam, the devotees, the acharyas, they all come for us, to help us, to remind us of again the spiritual world. Who reminds us of the spiritual energy or Krishna consciousness? No one. Outside people, no. Materialistic people, no. Only Krishna and his expansions. So he has descended to pacify us because we are struggling, we are crying. We're crying. I was sharing in the kids' class yesterday. There are 4 types of cry. One is the cry of a materialist or samsarika. Shall I share that presentation? Maybe. Okay, I got it. So I'll share. There are 4 types of cry. One is crying like a materialist. Materialists cry, oh, I lost my job. Oh, I lost my, near one, dear one. Oh, I lost my, maybe something happened to my health. Maybe something happened to my family. Maybe something happened, to my bank balance. Maybe something like materialists keep crying for these reasons, right? Most of it. That's called samsarika. Srila Madhvacharya explained that we have shed tears in so many lifetimes, which can fill up the entire ocean. So samsarika. Next is sahajiya. Sahajiya means those who are show bottle devotee. They show, oh, as if no one is greater than me, and crying like crocodile tears to gain some name, fame, attention. Oh, I'm crying for Krishna and rolling in the ground, and but that's sahajiya. They take it cheaply. Bhakti is not cheap. Bhakti is not to get name, fame, attention. Bhakti is a sentiment of heart. It's emotion. Bhakti is internal. Then there is cry as a sadhaka, number 3. Sadhaka means practicing devotee who's trying to cry like a baby is crying for Krishna, as Prabhupada says. Baby is crying for mother. That's what the chanting of the holy name is. And then that's what we should aspire for, to learn to cry. Cry means genuinely call from the heart. When the baby is calling the mother, he really means it. The baby really means it. And then is the perfect, pure, self-realized devotee called Siddha, or Raga Atmika Bhakta, Raganuga Bhakta. Those who are completely pure, like Mata Yashoda, the gopis, crying in separation from Krishna. So rather than crying for materialistic things, and by the way, here is the presentation, so in case you wanted to see. Yeah. So the prayer is that may the cry of samsarika become the cry of sadhaka, so that one day it will be the cry of a siddha in the spiritual world. 4 types of cry. So we have to learn to cry or genuinely call like a sadhaka. So one day we can call like siddha. That's the hope, to become pure, perfect, self-realized soul. So in short, Krishna is pacifying. Krishna is pacifying. Krishna is helping. Krishna is there. Krishna is caring. Krishna is bhakta-vatsala. And their minds were pacified. They all entered and they found ample room. That's another, there is no, some people say, oh, population is a problem. Overpopulation is a problem, right? Too many people. Actually, too many people is not a problem. What the people are doing, that's a bigger problem. There were ample people and ample room and ample resources if we live in a Krishna conscious way. If we live in a selfish way, what is in it for me, how I can enjoy the most, how I and my family can get the most resources, and everyone is selfishly thinking of my interest, as it is said, there is enough for one man's need, but not enough for one man's greed. Sorry, there is enough for everyone's need, but not enough for one man's greed or one person's greed. And that's what is happening in the world, right? There is no problem, like the food is thrown there's no shortage of food to create artificial hoarding and inflation. The food is thrown in the oceans, right? So it's all because of bad practices and lack of Krishna consciousness. That, certain people are overutilizing or doing urga karma and torturing Mother Earth. And very few people are living a very sattvic lifestyle. So there was ample room. There's ample room if everyone becomes Krishna conscious. The whole world will become Vaikuntha. There will be no problem for anyone. But of course, we know that, like these days, people are killing animals, killing cows and whatnot, and, so much harm to the environment and meat eating, animal slaughter, so much. The whole society has become a big mess. Not just millions and millions of cows are slaughtered, animals are slaughtered. Why? For selfishness. Oh, my hobby is fishing. Oh, my hobby is deer hunting. People say with big, like as if that's a great achievement. Killing innocent creatures, what harm they have done to us, right? Oh, it's my hobby, right? Para dukkha sukhi. The poor fish You're trying to allure that I'm giving some food to you, but in the name of giving food, you're giving her poison and killing her. Right? That's basically fishing. Is it not? You're trying to allure, oh, take this food. I'm your friend, got this food for you. Like if you think from a rational perspective, one day I was gone to a beach and to a lake or something, and I was just thinking, what is fishing? The person is trying to attract, hey, look, I've got something nice for you. Maybe you like it. If someone does this to our child by giving them oh, child, 3-year-old, 2-year-old, take this chocolate. I'm your well-wisher. You like this chocolate. In the name of chocolate, we kidnap them. Or what to speak of kidnap, we kill them. Right? That's basically fishing, is it not? On the name of alluring, on the name of giving them some food, we take their life. That's fishing. And same with other things also. So it is not about what the count of population is. It's about what the population is doing. So when we become Krishna conscious, there were in Dwarka, there were millions and millions of teachers, what to speak of for Krishna's great grandchildren. So everyone, they had ample space, cows, wagons, servants, priests, everyone, because they were doing this big puja. The priests were there, the servant, the cows, wagon, everything was there. Everyone was there. Everyone, they came there beneath the Govardhan hill for shelter. So in short, we should also take shelter of Krishna. Avashya rakshi be Krishna iti vishvasa. Have firm faith that Krishna will protect. Krishna's umbrella. Krishna doesn't speak lie. Krishna doesn't make false promises, especially when it comes to his devotee. Nami bhakta pranashyati. That's Krishna. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has? Yes, Subhana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. So, I'll mention that very nice points. So I was actually listening how, when you were telling about the fish like that, right? So even now, even the cows, what we see is motherly, almost mother, one of the 7 mothers. But, in this country and even in India now, they treat like anything. And I was, hearing one Prabhuji was saying that if we take anyone, once to the place where they keep the cows, and before they take shelter, they keep crying and they will never, touch anything, meat in their lives. So we have to educate our kids. That's my message. Thank you.
Yeah, someone said that if the slaughterhouses had glass walls, then everyone would be vegetarian. But I feel that some people are like that. Pashyanapi na pashyati. It's not that they don't know, or maybe they are not seeing, but dekkar andekha. Pashyanapi na pashyati. Seeing but still not seeing. Right? That is Maya, illusion. We all know that this is going to, even what to speak of, like torturing we are also torturing ourselves, because we know, Baldev Prabhu is a heart doctor. We know how dangerous those substances are for, cancer, heart, and all the body. Still, people get disease. It's scientifically proven. It may cause cancer, and people are. It's not that everyone is not aware. Many of them are aware, but still. Jivere lalasa ye iti uti dhai, Shishnu dar parayan Krishna nahi paye. The selfish tongue, right? How can we attain Krishna? The tongue makes us dance here and there. Jivere lalasa ye iti uti dhai, bhata kara idhar udhar. Shishnu dar parayan Krishna nahi paye. So, but intelligent people, like I was talking to my manager, like he's an intelligent person, I feel. He didn't know, but by reading Prabhupada's books, he gave up hunting. By reading Prabhupada's books, getting association of devotees like Yogal Kishore Prabhu, taking Krishna Prasad, going to the deities, bringing some flowers for the deities, all those things changed his heart. He gave up deer hunting and he also gave up meat eating because he realized that this is what I'm doing is wrong, right? So there are some people like that, of course, by Prabhupada's mercy, Prabhupada's books, and Vaishnava's mercy and the prasadam, he gave up. So some people are rational that in the past, no one taught them. Maybe their parents were feeding them. They had no choice. They didn't have that intelligence. But therefore, we should share books. We should share as much as possible, because there are people who are looking for it, who are favorable, who are innocent. Some people who are hell-bent upon doing what they want to do and they don't want to listen. They don't care about, okay, they're not ready. They're not ready to receive at this point. But some people are ready, and that's the whole purpose of outreach. Like the example, like Varun Prabhu is right here, such a sincere soul. A few weeks back, we didn't know each other's name. But now I feel like, the best of friends. So sincere, coming regularly for Bhagavatam calls, supporting the mission of Srila Prabhupada to the best possible extent, trying his best to do Vaishnava-seva, Bhagavata-sevayā, hearing Bhagavatam. There are people like that. Thank you, Varun Prabhu. Okay, let's read text 23. Anyone wants to read this? Yes. Yes.
Sutratyathaṁ sukapshekam hitva te raja vasidhi vikshayo mano dadhadim saptaham nichalat pada. Translation interpret by the disciples of his divine grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst and putting aside all considerations of personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days as the people of Raja gazed upon him. Purport. According to Vishnu Purana, Rajaika Vaisipir Harsha Vismita She Nirikshata Gopa Gopi Jane Krishna Priti Vispare Tikshana Samtyuyatmana Chete Krishna Sailam Adharayat. Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Braja, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him, and who glanced at him with joyful and amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated, and out of loving affection they opened their eyes wide. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty of the sweetness of Sri Krishna, the residents of Vrindavana felt no hunger, thirst, fatigue, and Lord Krishna, by seeing their beautiful forms, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura points out that 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartaka clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura, because the Supreme Lord, simply by his potency, immediately dried up the water as it fell to the ground. Thus, Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill is full of fascinating details and has for thousands of years remained one of the most famous pastimes. Very good. Beautiful verse, Prabhuji. And we can see that Krishna, lifting the Govardhan hill with his tiny finger, and all the Brajavasis just looking by his beautiful face, they were drinking the nectar of his beauty. So with that, they lost all the hunger, thirst, and fatigue. At the same time, Lord Krishna, looking at his devotees' forms, forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. So that is, if we take one step towards him, he takes 100 steps towards us. And even the Samvartaka clouds, which are dedicated for devastation, could not even flood a small village because it was in constant touch with the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Govardhan Hill, of course, is non-different from Krishna as well. So, Prabhuji, I also heard that, I don't remember. So there was a curse for some of the demon, he was thirsty, and Krishna made, him drink all that water. I don't recall the exact. I heard, I think in his great Govinda Rashmi Prabhu, mentioned in one of the call. Thank you, Prabhuji. Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So in this verse, we see that they were not afflicted by any wind, water, rain, etc. Forgetting hunger and thirst and putting all considerations of personal pleasure. So this is a very important quality what Krishna is showing. Putting all considerations for personal pleasure, or basically putting one's self-interest secondary, others' interest primary. Krishna always put his devotees' interest primarily. And devotee always wants to put Krishna's interest primary. This is a transcendental competition. Devotee wants to glorify Krishna, Krishna wants to glorify devotees. Devotee wants to serve Krishna, Krishna wants to serve his devotee. Who wins? That's a big debate. So the point here is the punch of 7 here. What are the 7 things? Or the punch was a punch of 7. For 7 days and 7 nights. At the age of 7, he lifted Govardhan Hill, which was 7 kosha. Teri saat kos ki parikama, Jai Govardhan Maharaj. This beautiful Raj Bhajan. तो पे पान चढ़े तो पे फूल चढ़े और चढ़े दूध की धार जय गोवर्धन तेरे माथे मुकुट विराज रयो 7 कोस की परिक्रमा 7 kosha like Raj Parikrama is 84 kosh, right? So that's 7 kosha, that's equivalent to 21 kilometers. And not to forget, we discussed about the 7 types of winds also, which were there. Of course, they were outside, but 7 types of winds, which are in this upper planets and which balance these different planetary systems, they could not do anything. These Samvartaka clouds, they could not do anything. Indra's water tank was over. Pani chala gaya. Tanki full. Tanki was empty. This is Krishna. And they were all the people of Raja gazed upon him. So it was a beautiful festival. I think it's going to come in the following verses. Okay. Now, in other scriptures, there is like whole description of the past happening underneath the Govardhan hill. For 7 days, 7 nights, what were they doing? Is it not? It's a good question. Because they didn't eat, sleep. When there is pure love and absorption, eating, sleeping, all those things are gone. Like we can see sometimes the kids are playing video games. They'll forget eating, they'll forget sleeping, completely absorbed, is it not? For hours, right? For 7 hours at least, I remember I used to go to play video games in my childhood when I was maybe 10 years old or so. At that time, there were coins, right? They put the coin in that slot machine game, and then it will run until you're like, depends on what kind of game. So my grandmother would give 10 rupees or so, and me and my brother and other siblings, we all would go and get coins and then keep playing for hours, at least 2-3 hours at that stretch. No eating, no sleeping, no standing. You were standing and playing, like in that game, arcade, right? Hours and hours. That's material absorption. But same, the pure devotees of Raja have for Kṛṣṇa. Shukdev Goswami speaking Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj hearing Bhagavatam, that's also Bhagavat Saptah, 7 days, 7 nights, no eating, no sleeping, no drinking, no nothing. Complete absorption in Hari Katha. Is it not amazing? For us, 7 minutes attention, or to speak 7 minutes, 7 second attention is so hard. In 7 times chanting holy name, the mind will go at 70 different places. But to speak of 7 rounds. But that's fine. Let's not lose hope. Let's keep trying. Right? Karat abhyas. Jadmati hot sujan. Rasri avarjat hai. Sar par parinishan. By practice. Abhyasena tu kanteya. So we can also develop this pure love, pure attention. And it's a beautiful story, actually. From Kṛṣṇa performed, wonderful pastimes in Raja. And Kṛṣṇa would accept the service of the Gopas in the daytime, right? Playing with the boys, killing demons, etc. And the gopis would complain, right? Oh, you don't have time for us, right? And all the night time, the Kṛṣṇa would be with the gopis and the gopas would complain. Hey, so the gopas loved the sun and they hated the moon. Why they loved the sun? Because when the sun rises, they would get to see Kṛṣṇa. But gopis love the moon, Manasa Chandra Chakora, right? Because nighttime moon comes and they get to be with Kṛṣṇa. And they hated the sun. So the sun and moon are like the 2 eyes, right, of Kṛṣṇa. The gopas would go to the Chandra Sarovar, again a beautiful place near Govardhan only this time, and we went to Chandra Sarovar also. Afara Puja. What would the puja be? That, oh moon, right? You kindly come 1 minute asking to set. Yeah, the moon should set 1 minute early so the sun can come fast. Externally, the parents would think, oh, they have gone, moon is connected to intelligence or mind, like lunar. The parents would think, oh, my child will develop good intelligence by worshipping moon or doing Chandra Sarovar. And by the way, did you know that how this name Chandra Sarovar got to know as Chandra Sarovar? There's a beautiful pastime also there. I'll share. One time Mata Yashoda, Kṛṣṇa was eating, and like how kids like throw tantrums, right? While eating, especially like small kids, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They don't want to eat. Mother has to literally force every, morsel every particle of food. And then Kṛṣṇa one time said, hey, mother, I want to eat moon. Right? So one time Mata Yashoda brought Kṛṣṇa to near Chandra Sarovar, which is currently known as Chandra Sarovar, and showed in the plate, like a water plate, the reflection of moon. Hey Kṛṣṇa, I'm going to feed you this. It's a beautiful story. That's one of the versions. So anyways, so the Gopas would pray there. But the Gopis would go to Suryakund. Externally, the Rajvasis would think, oh, they have gone to do, to get a good husband. But internally, their mood was that the sun should set 1 minute early, so they get more association of Kṛṣṇa. And then we can see the moon of Vrindavan, which is Kṛṣṇa. So how do both of these things reconcile? Right? It's hard. And on the other hand, the gopis, the elderly gopis, always wanted to feed Kṛṣṇa as their own child, to be with Kṛṣṇa as their own child. Right now, they were all there with Kṛṣṇa, but still not 24/7. Like here, literally, they were like 24/7. They were like, the word 24/7 maybe is coming from here too. They were 24/7 with Kṛṣṇa. It's 24 hours, 7 days, 7 nights, everyone, all these. So on and underneath Govardhan Hill, all the rasas were also exchanged. Shantya, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, the 5 primary and the 7 secondary rasas also. Humor, horror, all the rasas were being exchanged. Because that's what the Rajvasis always wanted. Why should we be separated from Kṛṣṇa even for a moment? Now, how will Kṛṣṇa make it possible? So Kṛṣṇa has to arrange something to fulfill the desire. Anugrina bhaktanam. Right? So Kṛṣṇa fulfilled the desires of what else? There are many other stories also. Govardhan's appearance. Kumbha Muni. I think Prabhu was sharing about the story of Kumbha Muni. Okay, so covered this verse, text 23. Any other thoughts, comments here? Let's read the next verse, 24. Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Krishna yoganubhavam tam nisham yendro ati mita nistambo bruasta kalpa swanmega sanyavarayat. Translation. When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he ordered his crowds to desist. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, in the previous verse, 7 days and 7 nights have passed. Outside there is thunder, lightning, rains, winds, but underneath the Govardhan, there is also lightning, lightning of love, lightning of Krishna's merciful glances upon his devotees, unadulterated, unalloyed. There is unceasing winds of pure love and devotion underneath. Prema, Krishna Prema, the whole environment underneath. For 7 days, 7 nights, maybe one day we'll discuss like this. This can be a full discussion for what was happening underneath for those 7 days, 7 nights. We all have heard this story also. They were joking like, hey, Madhumangal and others say, Krishna, hey, you must be tired, right? You must be tired lifting. Like, okay, have you seen this picture? All these gopas put their sticks, right? They put, okay, Krishna, don't worry. Mata Yashoda, because everyone is happy, Mata Yashoda is worried. Why? Because Govardhan is so heavy and my little child's little finger, like 7-year-old child's finger is very delicate. Is it not? I mean, for a mother, the child is always delicate, even if the child becomes 70-year-old or 17-year-old. The child always remains delicate. But I mean, 7-year-olds are small, their fingers are delicate, and she's concerned. She's praying, oh Govardhan, please become very light so my child doesn't feel, So there is prayer going on, there is fun, there is frolic, and the gopas are laughing and cracking jokes. Oh mother, what do you think? This is Krishna lifting? No, actually it's my Brahma Tej. Madhumangal says, I am a Brahmana. I am holding by the power of my mantra. Mantra has a lot of power. So it's not, don't worry, Krishna he's just like, but actually he's just like posing like this, sometimes in the pose, but he's just posing like this, but actually I am lifting by the power of my mantra. Okay, then some others at another time say, okay, let's put our sticks. And then Krishna, now you relax. It's been a while, your hand has been up and straight, now you take a break. And they said, are you sure? And Krishna like brings it a little down. And all their sticks break. Looks like Krishna, you keep it there. Okay. So like that. This is a beautiful story. Actually, someone said, actually, Radharani, you don't see towards Krishna. Because if you see towards Krishna, then actually she is called Hara. Why she's called Hara? Krishna is called Hari because he steals everything. What he steals? Sarva Papa Hare, Sarva Amangal Hare. He steals the impurities. He steals the Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Padashritanam cha samasta choram. He steals everything of those who are taken shelter. Basically, he steals the impurities, like how in this verse we're saying he's stealing the ego of Indra, because Indra is also devotee. How can Krishna tolerate the ego in a devotee? So he's stealing that away. And this pastime was also arranged to do that. But the primary purpose was what was happening inside Govardhan or underneath the Govardhan hill. So Krishna is called Hari, but Radharani is called Hara. One who steals Hari is called Hara. One who steals the heart of Hari. Radharani is called Mohini. Krishna is called Madan Mohan. Radharani is called Madan Mohan Mohini, the one who enchants, even the one who enchants Cupid. That's Krishna. But one who enchants the enchanter of Cupid, that means one who enchants Krishna is Madan Mohan Mohini. So Krishna, Radharani, you don't see towards Krishna, because if you see, then he'll get bewildered. And if he starts to, shake, and the Govardhan will start to shake, and what will happen? The Govardhan starting shaking, and then, it will fall on our heads. So, like that, they're like humorous, wonderful, ecstatic pastimes going on underneath. Or actually, after this, someone shared in the Vraja when I was there. Someone asked later, after this all Govardhan Lila happened, After all this Govardhan Lila happened, and someone, the gopis were, elderly gopis were asking Krishna, hey, you are just a naughty 7-year-old boy. How did you lift Govardhan Hill? Right? Isn't that a good question? You're just a 7-year-old boy. Govardhan is 7 koshas, so big. How did you lift? Krishna replies in Vrajabhasha. Oh Lala, Govardhan kaise uthayo? Gopi पूछ रही है. Oh Lala, Govardhan kaise uthayo? How did you lift Govardhan? Krishna बोले, कुछ माखन को बल बढ़े हो, कुछ गोपन करे सहाय, कुछ माखन से बल बढ़े हो, इतना माखन चुरा चुरा के खाया, लूट लूट नवनीत. He steals fresh butter. कुछ माखन से बल बढ़े हो, कुछ गोपन करे सहाय. Some gopas also help by putting their stick. Right? Sahai, they help me. Radhe ji ki kripa hui to girivar diyo uthai. But ultimately it was the merciful glance of Radharani which enabled me to lift Govardhan Hill. So a little bit strength from the Makhan, a little bit support from the Gopas, but ultimately it was the mercy of Sri Radharani that I could lift Govardhan Hill. So Govardhan Hill is very, very sweet, very, very wonderful. Lots and lots, till date, thousands and thousands of people circumambulate. And the Vraja people call Govardhan as Baba. That means he's my father, he's my friend, he's my everything. People share their heart. Govardhan is not a Shila. Shila has a stone, like stone, right? Govardhan is not a Shila. Govardhan is a person. Govardhan has a soft heart. Although he appears to be a Shila, but his heart is very soft and pure. Although I may appear to be soft, but my heart is like stone. Right? I wrote a short poem this time when I was there in Govardhan. I have to find where it is. But this was one of that. Although Govardhan appears to be like a stone, but he has a soft, pure heart. And although I may externally appear to be kind-hearted, but my heart is like a stone. Oh Govardhan, please make me soft-hearted. So prayer. Please make me soft-hearted. Soft-hearted means kind, compassionate towards others. Soft, caring, loving, genuine. And Govardhan does that. When we share our feelings, when we share our innermost treasures, desires, spiritual desires, of course, Govardhan will always help, because he's not just a stone. He's the Supreme Lord. And if we approach in that way, he's certainly going to help us in every way. So, Indra, basically, as Kṛṣṇa lifted Govardhan Hill, the mountain, he also pulled one mountain down. He lifted one mountain and brought one mountain down. He brought Indra down from the mountain of Mount Sumeru, the biggest, the golden peak. And actually Indra is his headquarters above Mount Sumeru. He brought from the peak, he brought Indra down from the peak of false ego for his own good. And Indra realized that. Indra realized that. He became astonished, and then he ordered his clouds to desist. Desist means stop, right? To, we are done, right? We have no hope here. So the Samvartaka clouds were pretty much sent back on the order of Indra. And Indra did realize. So we'll see what happened further. But any thoughts, comments here so far? Any comments, corrections? Any reflections before we pause for today? Okay. So I guess we will pause here and continue tomorrow. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Samavita Gaur Bhakti. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.